Some of them stayed dead, some of them came back. No, wait a minute, they all came back. Anyway, here's the top 5 most shocking character deaths in comics. Number 5 is Superman. The Death and Return of Superman was a 1992 DC Comics storyline that they did literally just as a way to kill time until the then new TV show Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman could develop the Superman and Lois relationship to the point where they could have them get married on TV and in the comics at the same time. What was shocking about it was the degree to which people lost their minds. It was on the news like a real-life head of state had died. People who hadn't read a comic book in years were going out and buying tons of copies, honestly thinking that they were going to get rich by holding on to them to sell sometime in the future. This was the event that ignited a get-rich-quick speculator frenzy that almost took down the entire comics publishing industry. The story's been retold in novels, video games, animated films, and rumor has it it's going to play an important part in next year's Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Number 4 is Professor X. He was killed in the 2012 Marvel crossover event Avengers vs. X-Men. He was murdered by Cyclops. Yeah, he was consumed by the Phoenix Force at the time, but shocking because Cyclops was not only one of Professor X's favorite students, but one of the founding members of the X-Men going all the way back to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's original series. The fallout from Professor X's murder is still felt with the X-Men divided into 2 camps. You have Cyclops leading an underground rebel faction and the legit, officially sanctioned X-Men led by Storm and Emma Frost. Number 3 is Captain America. He was killed in the aftermath of Marvel's Civil War event. He was shot by crossbones, but it later came out that the kill shot was delivered by a brainwashed S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Sharon Carter, who couldn't live with herself after that. This was the first comic book death since Superman that the mass media took an interest in, and I think a lot of that had to do with the political landscape at the time, since most of the coverage focused on the story as an allegory for post-9/11 America. In the comics, former sidekick and Winter Soldier Bucky took up the mantle of Captain America, and this was the status quo for so long that people started thinking Steve Rogers was never coming back. Looking ahead, fans are wondering if this is the direction Marvel is going with the movies after next year's Captain America Civil War. Number 2 is Robin, alias Jason Todd, who in the 1988 story A Death in the Family ran away from Wayne Manor to go find his biological mother. He catches up with her doing aid work in the Middle East, but she's gotten in trouble with the wrong people. So he reveals his identity to her, but instead of accepting his help, she sells him out to the Joker, who bludgeons him and leaves him for dead in a warehouse, ties Mommy up with him, and sets a time bomb. Batman arrives just in time to see the warehouse blow sky high, and when you turn the page on that cliffhanger ending, you're seeing an ad for a 900 number that readers could call and vote whether or not Robin's going to live or die. It was a huge gimmick, but perfect timing because the Michael Keaton Batman movie was being made at the time, and people already had Batman fever. Jason Todd stayed dead until 2002, when it was revealed in the Hush story that he was the secret identity of the villain, the Red Hood. Number 1 is Gwen Stacy, who in a 1973 issue of Amazing Spider-Man was thrown off the Brooklyn Bridge by the Green Goblin. And people argued for years whether it was the fall that killed her or the snap of her neck when Spider-Man caught her with his web line. After Batman's parents, this is the most significant death in all of comics, and it comes from an era when the idea was that any issue might be somebody's first, so repercussions that carried over multiple issues were rare. Even more rare was the idea that a publisher would kill off a fan-favorite main character, let alone the love interest of the hero. This would have been like them killing off Lois Lane in Superman and never bringing her back. Now, Gwen has returned to the comic book pages in Spider-Gwen. Check out my review, but that's an alternate universe retelling of the Spider-Man mythology, not a return of the character to the main Spidey story. And now comes my favorite part, when you let me know what you think. How would you have ranked this list? Is there anyone I forgot about? Let me know in the comments. And stay tuned, because on May 1st, the day that the Avengers Age of Ultron comes out, I'm going to upload a video, the top 5 comic book movies of all time. But it's not going to be the ones that I pick. I'm going to open up the voting to you. Later this month, I'm going to open up a poll and leave the voting open for the month of April. So you guys are going to vote, and then on May 1st, I'm going to reveal, as voted by you, the top 5 comic book movies of all time. So subscribe, because you don't want to miss that. Shoutouts this week for Comic King 428, Hilarious, Geekin' Good for representing, Cami Takai, and Kimberly Craft. New subscriber alert! Legacy 32, Chris Prushnik, Teen Wolf Lover 13, and Raven and John Vlog Pranks. Are you a new subscriber? Let me know in the comments, I'll shout you out! The weather's getting nicer, the superhero movies for this year are getting closer, and that means the bigger ideas for the videos I want to make this year are going to start coming out. So subscribe because you do not want to miss any of this. Hit the like button to make sure that more people get to see the awesomeness that lives on the Sean Ward Show YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.